If your family history feels flat, even after all the research, it might not be your sources. It might be a decision you haven't made yet. I didn't realize I was missing it either until one question stopped me cold. I've spent years helping people write their family histories on this channel, in workshops, and even in my own writing life. So I thought I knew exactly what I was doing when I was writing William Townsend's stories. But then I had a conversation with an AI language model, not to write the story, but to help me clarify what was missing. And it asked me something I hadn't even considered. That one question, just a few words, shifted how I saw my entire project. And I think it can help you too. Let's dive into the surprising lessons I learned from that exchange and how they might help you finally make progress on your family history writing. I've been writing a story about my Civil War ancestor, William James Townsend. I've done the research, I've written a working draft, I've gathered pension files, created military timelines, and even researched the entire roster for his unit. That wasn't a case of not knowing where to start. I'd already started, but the more I looked at what I had, the more I felt stuck. So I tried something new. I started a chat with ChatGPT, not to write anything, but to help me figure out what I was trying to build. I told the model about William and asked for help organizing what I had. And then it asked me a question that stopped me cold. Do you want each chapter to begin with scene setting or fact first narration? That sounds simple, right? Up until that point, I was still approaching my draft like a researcher, fact by fact, paragraph by paragraph, the recipe for writing family history method, which has never let me down. However, the scene setting or fact first question made me pause and consider the reading experience. Should I start each chapter by zooming into the moment or just state what happened next? That one prompt reframed how I saw the entire structure. I realized for William's early life and post war years, I do want to open with scene setting. I want to bring the reader into his world. But for his 90-page military service, the pace is faster, more factual. The section needs a different rhythm. I had never planned to vary my chapter flow, but now I could see how the story itself demanded it. And then I realized it wasn't just that one question. There were layers of decisions I hadn't made yet. For example, do I want the same tone across the whole book? How long should the chapters be? Will I include sidebars or stick with one narrative thread? And so on. These are the kinds of things I talk about in my workshops all the time, but somehow I hadn't applied them to my own story. So I sat down and started answering those questions, not just for AI's sake, but for mine. And what came out was a vision for what this book could actually become. I don't believe AI writing tools will give you a secret formula or a new writing strategy. Instead, it helps you look at your work more objectively, almost if you have a professional editor helping to develop the art of storytelling rather than fact spewing. Remember, we're trying to write so our families can connect to their ancestors, not so they'll roll their eyes and think, there goes grandma telling another boring family history story again. In short, I wasn't stuck on William's story because I didn't have enough research. I was stuck because I hadn't made the decisions that shaped the story. And once I started answering those questions, everything began to move again. So in the next video, I'm going to walk you through the exact decisions you make so you don't stay stuck where I was for very long. Let me know in the comments, have you ever had a breakthrough moment like that where something small shifted how you saw your entire writing project? And if this gave you something to think about, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Just remember, you have a story worth writing, and I hope this helps you take the next right step. See you next time.